During our annual family cookout, she made a loud comment in front of everybody. If we ever actually tie the knot, he should consider himself fortunate if I stay faithful. I kept my mouth shut, but later that evening my uncle took me aside, and what he told me completely shifted my perspective. Our family follows a long-standing custom. Every year, during the final weekend of summer, the whole clan gathers for a massive cookout at my uncle's place. It lasts the entire day, bringing together 3 generations, endless platters of food, and non-stop lively chatter. The occasion celebrates our heritage and the bonds we share. It's just about the last setting on Earth where you'd imagine your entire world crumbling. Yet that's precisely what occurred to me last Saturday. My name is Tom. I work as a project manager at a large commercial building firm. My days involve constructing massive projects, towering office blocks, medical centers, college campuses. My role requires taking countless disorganized elements and shaping them into one strong, reliable, fully operational building. I create stability out of disorder. I believed my connection with my girlfriend Sarah represented the sturdiest thing in my existence. We'd been a couple for 2 years, sharing the home I owned for the past 12 months. We were true teammates. We had a clear future outlined, wedding, children, the complete package. It felt like a dependable design I could count on. Sarah is stunning, quick-witted, and the center of attention wherever she goes. She carries a spontaneous, adventurous side that always drew me in. I convinced myself it nicely offset my more disciplined, organized personality. My relatives absolutely cherished her. They enjoyed her vibrant personality and entertaining tales. She blended into our gatherings effortlessly. That Saturday turned out to be an ideal end-of-summer afternoon. The cookout was buzzing with life. My cousins tossed around a football. The little ones dashed through water sprays, while the grown-ups lounged on the patio, sharing stories and cold drinks. I stood at the barbecue turning patties, completely at ease. Sarah was entertaining a cluster of my girl cousins plus my aunt nearby. Their discussion moved from a famous recent celebrity marriage to our own future intentions. I caught bits of it from my spot at the grill, paying only partial attention. Then my cousin asked, "So when are you two finally going to make things official?" That's when Sarah let the explosive remark fly. She burst into a dramatic, attention-grabbing laugh that turned several heads. "Oh please, who knows?" she announced, her voice ringing out over the patio. "If we ever do get married, he'll be fortunate if I don't step out on him." The easy laughter around the deck vanished instantly. The chatter halted. In that abrupt hush, only the hiss of meat on the grill and far-off children's yells remained. I didn't spin around. I remained facing the barbecue, spatula gripped tightly, eyes fixed on the charred lines across a burger. She attempted to brush it aside as harmless humor. "I'm only teasing," she added quickly, forcing another laugh that rang hollow and strained. "Well, sort of." A handful of awkward chuckles followed from the group. Slowly, uncomfortably, the talking resumed, but the joyful atmosphere had cracked. The flawless summer afternoon now carried an ominous shadow. I said nothing at all. I refused to meet her gaze. I uttered not one syllable. I simply continued cooking, keeping my motions steady and precise. Inside me, a tempest was brewing. It wasn't merely the insult itself. It was the fact that she broadcast it publicly. She hadn't only disrespected me privately. She had declared to my entire extended family that she viewed our relationship as trivial, that my devotion meant nothing serious to her. I finished serving the meal. I joined my relatives at the table. I chatted, smiled, and acted as though the woman I cared for hadn't just shattered the base of everything we'd built. Sarah kept glancing my way, searching for any sign of how I felt. I offered zero reaction. I became an empty slate. As the evening wound down and guests began departing, my Uncle Frank drew me away from the crowd. Frank, my father's elder brother, is a retired police officer who has witnessed humanity at its highest and lowest. He speaks sparingly, but his words always carry weight. He guided me to the far corner of the yard, beyond the glow of the outdoor lights and remaining visitors. He met my eyes directly, expression grave. I caught what she said. He stated in a deep, quiet tone. I simply nodded. "You're a decent man, Tom," he went on. "You're dependable. You construct things meant to endure. That woman, she isn't wired the same. She's all sparkle, zero support underneath." He stopped, glancing toward the gathering where Sarah was now giggling with my aunt as though the moment had never occurred. "You're furious," he observed. He didn't need to ask. "You're itching to drive home and confront her. Raise your voice, argue. Maybe even call it quits tonight." He read me perfectly. That was exactly my impulse. "Don't do it," he instructed firmly. "That's precisely what she's counting on. That's the drama she's trying to provoke." A huge emotional scene where she sobs, says sorry, labels it a dumb remark, and you take her back because of your feelings. Then she'll realize there are no real consequences. She'll know she can belittle you without any serious fallout, just some temporary theatrics. He rested a hand on my shoulder. Any woman who makes a joke about being unfaithful isn't actually joking. She's floating a test. She's probing to see how far she can push you. She's revealing her real character. The worst error you could make is refusing to accept what she's showing you. "So what should I do?" I asked. His guidance was straightforward yet transformative. "You do absolutely nothing right now," he answered. "Go home tonight. Pretend everything's normal. Allow her to believe she escaped any trouble. Let her relax. Let her guard drop. And while she's at ease, you become intelligent. You investigate whether that single test remark is isolated or part of a much larger pattern you've missed. Don't react with feelings. Gather facts. People of her type aren't afraid of rage. They're terrified of being exposed. You want to finish things? That's fine. But don't do it the way she expects. Do it your way. Ensure that when you leave, she fully comprehends exactly what she's throwing away and the reason behind it." I studied my uncle's face and grasped his meaning. He wasn't suggesting weakness. He was advising strategy. He handed me an entirely new plan. The previous vision, marriage, family, future, was finished. The replacement plan centered on controlled destruction. A silent, meticulous, total takedown. I returned to the gathering, gave my girlfriend a calm smile, and quietly began mapping my next moves. Update 1 full week has passed since the cookout. 7 days of acting like the understanding, forgiving partner. 7 days of careful, undetectable research. My Uncle Frank's words became my guiding rule. Don't let emotion drive you. Collect evidence instead. That same night, during the ride home after the cookout, Sarah finally brought it up. "Are you upset with me?" she asked softly, sounding uncertain. I glanced across at her. "About what?" "You know, that dumb comment I made. It was thoughtless. I was just trying to be clever. My humor can get a bit edgy at times." I simply lifted my shoulders. "It's okay," I replied. "I understand." The visible wave of relief across her features was obvious. She believed she'd dodged any real trouble. She assumed my quietness during the evening was just me sulking. She had no clue I was completely reevaluating our entire relationship. Over the following days, she became the model girlfriend, loving, thoughtful, avoiding any risky comments. She felt she'd tested a limit and I'd let it slide. She relaxed completely. While she let her guard down, I got busy. My initial goal was determining the true scale of the situation. Was that single remark just an isolated blunder, or did it point to something much more serious? I began with her phone. We'd always had an open devices agreement. We shared passcodes. It was supposed to be built on mutual trust, which she clearly hadn't earned. I waited until she slept deeply, then examined everything. I wasn't hunting for obvious proof. I searched for recurring habits. No blatant messages from other men appeared. She was far too clever for that. What I did discover was more revealing. There was a clear habit of deleting. Conversations with specific male acquaintances had strangely empty sections. Whole days vanished. Call records showed repeated contact with those same people, yet the matching messages had been erased. Someone with zero secrets doesn't carefully wipe out entire threads. The most significant discovery was a group conversation with her 3 closest friends. They'd named it the Freedom Squad. I read back through months of messages. It chronicled their daily lives, romantic situations, and future dreams. And it delivered pure gold. They discussed me frequently. They nicknamed me the Jailer or Mr. Reliable. They mocked my steady routine, my uneventful weekends. Sarah's messages cut deepest. She described feeling confined. She expressed craving more thrill. Then I located the exchange from the day right before the cookout. One friend questioned whether she was genuinely prepared to commit to me long-term. Sarah's answer. Absolutely not. But honestly, the arrangement is too convenient to walk away from yet. He provides excellent security while I decide what I actually desire. And what I truly desire isn't someone who spends Saturdays fixing lawn irrigation. Another friend cautioned, "You'd better watch yourself. He's not stupid. What happens if he catches on?" Sarah's reply sent ice through my veins. "He won't. He has total faith in me. I could probably be unfaithful, and as long as I kept smiling and saying I loved him, he'd buy it. He should feel grateful I haven't even tried yet." There it was, the proof. The cookout remark wasn't random humor. It was merely a lightly edited version of her honest beliefs. It was exactly the test my uncle described, measuring how much disrespect I'd accept. I captured screenshots of the full thread and stored them securely in a private online folder. That became my evidence. Now I needed a strategy for revealing it. The perfect chance appeared 2 days afterward. Sarah returned home buzzing with excitement. Her closest friend, the one who'd questioned her readiness to settle down, had just gotten engaged. The proposal happened during a romantic getaway in Paris. They planned a grand, upscale engagement celebration in 3 weeks at a luxury downtown venue. "It's going to be incredible," Sarah gushed, eyes sparkling. "Everyone important will attend. We definitely need to get you a sharp new suit." A lavish event. A glamorous gathering packed with her social circle and everyone she wanted to impress. The setting was ideal. During the following week, I prepared carefully. I maintained the role of the flawless, supportive boyfriend. I assisted with selecting her party outfit. I scheduled a fitting for my own new suit. I listened patiently while she raved about the engagement, the Paris trip, the massive diamond. All the while, I quietly built my own plan. I reached out to the event coordinator, a professional my company had collaborated with previously on business functions. I explained I wanted to create a thoughtful surprise tribute for the newly engaged pair. I proposed assembling a short video montage of their memories to display on the venue's large screens. She loved the concept and sent me the required file format details. I devoted many hours to crafting the presentation that IT opened harmlessly. Sweet photos of the couple, snapshots with friends, including Sarah, even a few of Sarah and me looking joyful together. But the closing 30 seconds changed everything. Those final moments displayed the screenshots from the group chat. I programmed them to move slowly across the screen, her exact phrases appearing in large, unmistakable text, accompanied by gentle, sentimental piano music. He provides excellent security while I decide what I actually desire. He has total faith in me. He should feel grateful I haven't even tried yet. The file was finished. The moment was arranged. All that remained was waiting for the curtain to rise. Sarah assumed the celebration was entirely for her friend. She had no suspicion it would become her public conclusion. Update 2: the evening of the engagement celebration felt like the stillness before a massive storm. I wasn't anxious. I remained completely focused. I had a mission, a structure to dismantle, and I possessed the proper instruments. We stepped into the elegant hotel ballroom, and it matched Sarah's description perfectly. A dazzling display of designer gowns, custom suits, and the subtle buzz of people convinced of their own importance. Sarah thrived in the atmosphere, moving gracefully between clusters, exchanging cheek kisses and laughter, pulling me along like a polished companion. I simply smiled, nodded politely, and fulfilled my role. I located the coordinator and handed over the USB drive containing the video. "Everything is prepared," I told her. "Please run it immediately following the bride's father's speech." She gave a quick approval and vanished toward the tech area. Roughly 60 minutes later, the formal toasts commenced. The bride's father delivered an emotional tribute. The groom's best man shared several humorous anecdotes. Then the groom himself stood and spoke warmly about his future wife, Sarah's closest friend. When he concluded, the ballroom lights gradually lowered. The coordinator's voice filled the space over the speakers. And now, a special tribute from a dear friend, a nostalgic look at cherished memories. The tender piano melody began. The presentation started rolling. I stood beside Sarah toward the rear of the room. She gripped my arm lightly, a sincere smile lighting her face. "This is so touching," she murmured. The opening minutes unfolded beautifully. Images of the joyful couple appeared across the 3 massive screens. Attendees beamed, some wiping away tears. Then the music intensified, signaling the final 30 seconds. The first captured message appeared. Sarah's own words. He provides excellent security while I decide what I actually desire. I felt her fingers tighten painfully on my arm. Her expression locked in place. What is happening? She whispered fiercely, voice shaking. The following screenshot appeared. He has total faith in me. A quiet ripple of murmurs grew throughout the room as guests absorbed the text on display. Heads turned, eyes moving from screens to Sarah, faces transforming from delight to stunned confusion. Finally, the last captured line filled every screen, the one echoing her cookout remark. He should feel grateful I haven't even tried yet. Silence swallowed the entire ballroom. Only the gentle piano continued, now sounding mournful, like music for a burial. The video concluded. Screens faded to black. The lights rose brightly to end that illuminated, dead quiet space. Every single gaze fixed on Sarah. Her face showed absolute, stunned horror. Her friends, the members of her Freedom Squad, stared at her, their expressions drained. Realizing they too had been implicated, I turned toward her. The radiant, self-assured woman I'd shared 2 years with had vanished. In her place stood someone exposed, vulnerable, surrounded by the ruins she herself had created. I leaned close enough for only her ears. The joke doesn't feel amusing anymore, does it? I didn't linger for any reply. I stepped away, turned, and walked straight out of the ballroom. I didn't hurry. I didn't glance behind me. I moved with calm, measured strides, leaving the disorder in my wake as the heavy doors closed behind me. The first noises of the aftermath reached my ears. Sobbing, raised voices. The tempest had finally arrived. My Uncle Frank waited for me in the hotel lobby. I'd phoned him earlier that day to explain my intentions. He'd simply said, "I'll be here." He rose as I approached. He didn't inquire about the outcome. He simply studied my face and offered a small, satisfied smile. "Come on," he said. "Let's grab a drink. You look like someone who just finished serving a long sentence." And he was correct. I felt liberated. Final update: 6 months have passed since that engagement celebration. The controlled destruction is finished, and I've used the time since to clear away the debris and lay a fresh foundation. This closing chapter isn't about theatrics or payback. It's about natural outcomes and the calm, fulfilling journey of rebuilding. The consequences unfolded rapidly and completely. The party dissolved into pandemonium. Sarah suffered an utter breakdown. Her inner circle, the Freedom Squad, was swept up in the explosion. The bride-to-be, her supposed closest confidant, was outraged that her special evening had been destroyed. I've heard their friendship ended that night. Sarah's social world collapsed entirely. The incident spread rapidly through her network like an infection. The proof was irrefutable. She wasn't portrayed as the injured party. She was clearly the designer of her own downfall. The people she'd worked so hard to impress finally saw her true nature, a person who treated relationships as disposable conveniences. They distanced themselves. Of course, she attempted a comeback narrative. She spread claims that I was unhinged, that I'd fabricated the screenshots, that I'd been controlling all along. It gained no traction. My character was well established, and her own documented statements were too powerful to refute. She also lost her employment. It turned out the groom from the party, the new fiancé, was a senior partner at the advertising agency where Sarah worked. He never needed to terminate her personally. The atmosphere became so poisonous, filled with gossip and cold stares, that she had no choice but to resign. She naturally had to leave my house. I'd already boxed up her belongings beforehand. She arranged for her father to collect them. I made sure I wasn't present. I left everything neatly in the garage. Her father, a man I'd always held in high regard, could barely meet my eyes when our paths crossed briefly several weeks later. The embarrassment was overwhelming. Today she resides alone in a modest apartment on the other side of the city. She's taken a basic entry-level position, attempting to reconstruct her life. She has almost no remaining friends, no romantic partner, and a damaged reputation that will linger for years. About 2 months ago, I received one message from her. A lengthy, wandering email filled with apologies, blame-shifting, and self-victimization. She claimed the cookout remark was the greatest error of her existence. She insisted she hadn't truly meant it, that she'd only been trying to appear aloof and sophisticated. She even called my uncle a heartless old man for the guidance he gave me. That particular statement showed me she still hadn't grasped the truth. She continued assigning fault outward, to the remark itself, to my uncle, to anyone except the one truly responsible. Herself. I deleted the message without responding. My life now is peaceful. It's steady. It's secure. I've been investing quality time with my family, the people who represent my true bedrock. My Uncle Frank and I head out fishing every couple of weekends. We rarely mention the past events, we don't need to. He simply pats my shoulder and says, "You handled it well, kid." The true justice wasn't the video presentation. It wasn't the public exposure. The real justice came from simply accepting what she had openly shown me. With that single cookout comment, she revealed her authentic self. My uncle's counsel wasn't about vengeance. It concerned dignity. He urged me to believe her words, and I chose to do exactly that. I took her at face value and responded appropriately. She believed she could play both sides, enjoying my reliability while preserving her freedom. She never understood that for me, loyalty isn't a game. It's a commitment. It's a vow. And when someone demonstrates their promises hold no value, I don't explode in anger. I simply dismantle the faulty structure and begin again, on ground that's solid and trustworthy. And the new foundation I'm constructing now feels stronger than anything before.